First off, welcome to Charlotte. What has the whole process kind of been like in terms of getting contacted by the team, hearing what Dean has in plan for you, and kind of just your overall excitement of being here so far?
Yeah, I think I talked to Dean probably on the end, end of last week, and kind of picked his brain on his plan and what's going on here. And I think right when I hung up, it was a call to my agent to basically tell him that I wanted to be here. Dean has been really helpful through the whole process of once everything kind of went down, gave me some time to just get things situated in Portland, because it's a big move. It's my first move. Good to move back to the East Coast, and I think that was one of the biggest things for me too is I'm a big family guy, and having my family not only just come out once a year, now they can come to probably upwards of 10 games this year. So it's good, excited, and it's one that there's a lot of guys that I've played with, or Ben being at Maryland, he's one that excited to play with and get to mess with a little bit, because he, being a Maryland guy, we have a lot in common, so I'm excited for it.
I was going to say, there's a lot of flights from Dulles to Charlotte, as I can attest to.
Yeah, exactly. There's DCA, Dulles. There's always only. Yeah, train, whatever, they can even drive. I think I had 25 tickets when we played here this past season, so it's good I can spread it out over the year instead of all for one game. So super excited to be here.
Dean talked about wanting to have a ball progressing midfielder. How much of that has he kind of shared with you, and maybe has tapped you as somebody who can fill that role?
Yeah, I think once we spoke, he kind of gave me the rundown of how we want to play this year, and I think bringing in Tim last year and some of these guys that can get the ball to the midfielders. I know Ashley does a good job on both sides of the ball, and I think kind of allowing him to kind of play a little more of a free role and play off of each other. I think it's one where we haven't gone too much into detail so early in preseason, but one that I'm excited to build on. And being here for just over 48 hours, it already feels like I know most of these guys personally.
You mentioned playing last year against Charlotte. We haven't really seen a lot of interleague moves that the club has made, so we don't get a chance to ask guys their impressions of them having played against them. What are your impressions of what you saw last year and what you saw develop?
Yeah, I think usually in Portland we had the upper hand, being at home all the time and having fans behind us. But once we got here, I think it was kind of like a punch in the mouth. Once we got into the stadium and heard the fans, your kind of heart drops into your stomach a little bit, and it's one of the only environments that I can ever say that I've played in that I've felt so uncomfortable being on the other side, and being able to join it and seeing the atmosphere before the ball even kicks off. You kind of get the smoke, you have the fireworks, everything between that. As a player, on the opposing side, it's a little intimidating to say the least. So being able to have that on my side now is one that I'm looking forward to, and going from a fan base that's really behind us to one that everyone's talking about. The first home game is going to be sold out, so it's one where I'm already getting antsy. So it's excited for it and know that it's going to be fun.
And lastly, you mentioned Ben being a Maryland guy. What was your relationship with him prior, and I guess how much are you happy to see him here and kind of build more of that connection? Yeah,
I think Ben's one that I watched a lot. It was COVID 21 when he was there. One that we all as Maryland guys follow the teams, and he really stood out to me of one that can play on both sides. But his versatility, his speed, his quickness, the way he plays, kind of I think is similar to mine, with kind of an elegance of we like to call players like him smooth. He's really smooth on the ball, and being able to build off that, and knowing, we hadn't really spoke before when we played him here. I know he didn't make the matchday roster that game, but spoke to him a little in the parking lot after, and it was just a quick remark of hey, Maryland guy, been watching you, just wish nothing but the best. And now being able to join him, I've given him a hard time a little bit, just being here and trying to crack jokes with him, just being, now feeling like an older guy of one that I can take under my wing and make sure that he develops and know that it's good that we can challenge each other for a position.
Yeah, for a super nice kid, Ben can have a bit of a mean streak when he's on the pitch too. He's very competitive.
Yeah.
That way. In coming up through the club thing, you came up through DC United, but you were moved to Portland, before, getting a chance there with things. The Portland is kind of a legacy NASL team that's been around them in Seattle. Great, competition there. What was it like? I mean, seeing that the fan base, all the politics in Portland, and how much did that affect y'all on the pitch? Because Portland had one of the famous fan bases for a long time. Did it change? During the time there with the politics that were going on?
No, I would say the fans were really respectful of us and keeping it strictly about soccer. I know there was a lot of times where the fans in the front office could have not agreed on quite a bit of things, and I think they allowed us to be ourselves and express how we felt if we wanted to be vocal about it. We sat down with them multiple times to just kind of listen and hear their thoughts on everything, and I think that's one thing that I'm always open to. I think I was on that panel in Portland listening to the fans, so it's always being transparent, because at the end of the day, I think they create these atmospheres. I think the fans are the reason why we play the game, because of the joy that we can bring them. Also, us loving the game and being able to share that with them. I think the more you kind of keep it on the field and kind of keep those out of it, keeps things pretty healthy.
And just with you've been with the U.S. men's national team before. Patrick Agyemang is there now. Tim is, the senior citizen there. Do you feel, you're kind of in prime time age-wise right now? Do you still feel that you can contribute to the national team?
Yeah, I think that was a big thing with this move, is being able to get back to a level where I can make an argument to be back with the national team. Having someone like Tim that I've been in, I think it was Gold Cup 2019, or pre-Gold Cup 2019 camp with him, and being able to just kind of learn from him and seeing his experience not only in England but coming back to the league, and that leadership, just trying to get little advice and tips from him to kind of elevate my game and get back to a level that we all want me to be at. And I think that's Dean's goal, some of the staff's goal, front office's goal is getting back to that level and getting back in that conversation with the national team.
Now, some players, former players that are on, like Sirius, like Dunny and Tony and all, were talking when this move first came up, before it was finalized and stuff. They were talking about this being a really good move for Charlotte and stuff. Why are they saying that? Why do you think this is a good move, not just for you, but for Charlotte as well? What are you bringing to this?
Yeah, I think if we want to be a team that has a little more possession and having those pieces to progress the ball up the field, I think that's one of my qualities, is being able to connect the back to the front. And I think you look at the roster and look at the players on the roster, there's a ton of quality, a ton of talent, and I think that with my qualities and their talent as well, I think we kind of complement each other, whether it's one midfielder or another. It's one that I think, having that versatility in my game, their versatility, we're able to play so many different styles and formations that it's ultimately going to make us dangerous, because you look at how this club did last year, and it was good, and I think everyone felt like it was good, but we want to get great. We want to be great. We want to get to the point of competing. I heard Ashley say we want to be top 4 in the West, and Dean, and I agree with him with Ash, but I also think that we could be leading the East. There are some big teams in the East, but I think with this roster we have, and this club's ambitions, that we will get back to the top of the East.
And you've seen the rumors of like Wilfried Zaha, potentially being here. You've seen what Benteke's, his former teammates, been doing in DC. Do you think that would be a move that could take Charlotte next level? Yeah,
for sure. I think with the quality we have on the roster, I think bringing in another quality piece will continue to make us dangerous. A player of Zaha's quality is one that I think majority of the team in this league would want to sign, and I think it goes to speak for this club's ambitions of going after and getting some of the top players in the world, and not just being okay with how we finished last year and striving for better.
And what's your experience in the kind of bonding of players who have been well established in Europe or South American stuff, then coming into MLS? Do you find that, are they surprised by the level here, or do they bond well? Do they become good teammates easily, or?
Yeah, I think there's a learning curve to all of it. I think you look at my time in the league, and I've seen players come in that have done well, and some players that haven't panned out, and everything in between. So I think there is a learning curve to it, and someone, again, of Zaha's quality or a South American talent, some of these guys can, just with their play on field alone, can establish a chemistry with guys easily. And it's all about the attitude. I know that we talk about the standard here and the mentality. As long as we're all on the same page, we should be good to go.
Great, thank you.
Ashley Westwood was a player that was up there with one of the total distance covered in MLS. Dean Smith spoke about the fitness test with Ben Bender and Brant Barnico. What kind of tone are you noticing from the get-go, from the midfield here at Charlotte?
Yeah, I think this midfield group, they have quite an engine. It's you look at all the guys who are competing for number one on the fitness test. You can see that they all have an engine, and I think it sets the standard for me to get in that conversation and push myself to get in that conversation. I think again, those qualities that they have and the qualities I bring as well, it can all complement each other to make sure that we're all not just busy bees all over the field, but making sure that everything we're doing is as a unit. So as long as the midfield unit and the units around us are good, that we continue to build that chemistry.
Did you speak to maybe Miles or Bill or Bingham before your move here, since they're former Portland?
Yeah, I think Miles, I sent him a GIF. There's, the famous LeBron GIF of him ripping off kind of the training top and screaming, "Let's go." I sent it to him and didn't realize he was at dinner with Dean and the rest of the guys. And they sent me a quick message saying, "Hey, saw the message of Miles. We're just as excited as you are." So yeah, Miles was a big component as well. I think my time under him before has been a success in my career, and just continuing to build that. And I think that's why I think this is such a good fit for me.
Nice. You've had serious injuries in the past, right, with your ACLs. What could you maybe say to maybe fans or people that may be concerned that could potentially be an issue here?
Yeah, I think those injuries are a part of the career. I think it's a part of the sport, and I think my message is I've learned a lot from those, and I think growth is the biggest key in most aspects of life, to say the least. And there is an aspect of my game that I've learned, and my body not being a 20-year-old kid who can go, run around in the park after hard training. It's more of learning my body, taking care of myself, and doing the little things that can take me to the next level. So just staying on top of that, and I know our staff here have already been aware and have been working with me even through the first 2 days of asking whatever I need, whatever routines I've been through, and continuing those to stay healthy.
Is it special playing Seattle the first match with Charlotte potentially?
Yeah, we had a running joke that Seattle was like our second home. I personally don't think I've lost in Seattle, and I want to continue that streak. I think to start the game there, or start the season there as a first game will be special to me, but also to get the club started on the right foot, and going there to essentially take 3 points and bring it back home to start the season on top of the East.
Thank you.
Yep.
I could personally vouch from the Seattle radio people. They were happy to see you leave Portland. They said that very vocally. The midfield you played against in the game head-to-head, among the returning guys, Westwood, Petkovic, Gianni, Bronico came off the bench. From an opposing player aspect, what is that group like to play against?
I don't know. That's the thing, is that we had a game plan going into that game, and the way the three played, Bronico coming off the bench, it was borderline impossible to get anything going. And I think it goes to show just like how fluid and versatile the midfield can be, and as long as we're on the same page, I think it was the simplest thing that they were all on the same page. It created so many complications, and being able to take that into games. I know that speaking with Dean, that's kind of where it is, that there are different game plans going into every game. It's not just a, black and white, hey, we're gonna pass the ball through the middle and score through the middle. It's playing to our opponent's strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, I think that midfield really impressed me, and I think it was one that I really wanted to join, to say the least. I traded jerseys with I just blanked on his name, Gianni. I always butcher his first name. Traded jersey with Gianni because I respected his game so much, and being able to join him and being able to finally play with him. He has such a great left foot that first moment he touched the ball, it kind of caught us by surprise of how well he can play through the middle. Ashley again created so many problems, and we were just kind of chasing shadows, to say the least. So it's good to be on the other side of it and join from there.
We'll go ahead and move to Zoom. Carol, if you want to start us off.
Sure. Hey, Eryk. I'm Carol Walton from the Charlotte Ledger. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you and welcome. I was kind of curious the circumstances in Portland. Like, did you see change coming? Was this a surprise? Kind of where were you fitting on the team out there?
I think it was one where, sometimes in life you can get a little too comfortable, and I think you need a new challenge. And I think you kind of look at how the season ended. It was one where I think personally, from a growth aspect, I needed a change. I needed something new, and I know have been in talks with the club, Charlotte, for the last, I think, year or so. It was potential to come in last summer, and things just didn't work out the way we wanted to. So it was one that I knew going into this offseason was a possibility. So it was more of joining a stronger group that I feel like is perfect for the next step of my career.
So who initiated that conversation? Was it you to Charlotte or Charlotte to you? Or?
Not sure. I just got the message from my agent, and once he brought it up, I tried to push for it to happen. But at the end of the day, there were negotiations that needed to happen, and those windows are kind of short. So it was kind of a back and forth, and didn't get really over the line. And then once the season ended, it kind of came to fruition.
My assumption would be that Miles was the one putting in the bug in Dean's ear. Do you have a good rapport with him, good relationship?
Yeah, great relationship with Miles, I think, both on and off the field. And I think that's, even being here, the moment I landed, Miles asked if I needed anything. And it goes to not only speak of our relationship with the person he is, and having that mutual respect between the two of us would really benefit me, because I'm one who value those relationships, and he's basically taking me under his wing for anything I need.
You sure you want to play in the humidity again?
Kind of miss it. It's kind of sick of the rain, so it's good. I'll trade the humidity for the rain.
Okay, and you said 48 hours. Does that mean like 2 or 4 practices so far?
Yeah, had to do medicals, had to do everything there. Got a session with the team. We have another one later, so it's been good. I was on the winning team today, so it's off to a good start.
For a guy making his first real big change, you seem like you're taking it in stride.
Yeah, everyone's been giving me a lot of trouble because the pictures, they haven't seen me smile so much in a long time. So it just goes to show how excited and how happy I am to be back here. And, already feels like home, and so many people have been so helpful with this move.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes, Sam Spencer.
Hey, Eryk. Sam Spencer. I cover soccer for Queen City Nerve and Soccer Sheet. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So first off, just wanted to ask, what's it going to be like turning around and playing the Timbers again really quickly at Coachella?
Yeah, I'm excited because it's one where you can kind of get rid of that feeling of like, it's just, hey, I'm with my new team and there's the old team. It's kind of us versus them now instead of it being, oh, I used to be there, and that's kind of the mentality we have. It's anyone we line up against, it's us versus them, and it's going to be a bittersweet one because there's players like Diego that I've played with for so long, and now being on the other side of it, I'll probably have to deal with a foul or two, which I'm okay with. So,
in Portland, you had an amazing women's team and stars like Sophia Smith. Did you interact with them that much, and have you learned anything about the new women's team that's in their first year here in Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm, to say the least, a super fan of the women's game. My girlfriend actually played for the Thorns. So it's one where try to recruit her here to play for the Charlotte team. It's such a new league that I think there's a little nerve there, and just respecting her decision, because at the end of the day, I understand the sacrifices not only you have to make for family and friends, but also just in your career. And for her to come out here would be perfect and easy and a perfect situation. But yeah, just kind of respecting her decision and knowing that it's up to her, and I fully support her no matter what it is. But obviously there's a little bit of pull to try and get her here. So
last year at the bank, you got to face Patrick Ajimon, who is at his first camp for the men's national team, playing against Pat and some of Charlotte's forwards.
Yeah, I texted, I think it was Miles, and I was, holy crap, like what just happened? Like on every aspect of the game, I think Charlotte had dominated, and it was one that we were caught by surprise in terms of they executed everything to plan, and there was absolutely nothing we can do. I think someone of Patrick's quality, his size, his technical ability, is one I'm excited for, because it's the way style of play with some of the guys I've played with before. We haven't maybe had the physical side, and maybe had the technical side. So someone who has both aspects to his game is really exciting, and I'm one who I like to try and get in there and get an assist or two, and working with him I'm kind of excited for, because obviously him having a good year last year, I think is kind of the first step, and it's just kind of I'm one to push him to continue to do better and keep himself in the conversation with the national team.
I wanted to follow up really quick. On your injuries, I think the last big one was in 2023, where you missed most of the season, and wanted to know if you talked with Ashley Westwood, or what he was able to accomplish. Thinking he had a career-ending injury at Burnley, and then was able to come back and be a huge leader for this team. If that factored into your decision at all? No,
I actually didn't know. Ashley's been killing me, because he's every time he speaks to me, like I don't know what it is with the English accents, like I always kind of giggle, and it's like we probably have 3 sentences we can get to each other before I start dying laughing. And he's a funny guy, and it's one where I just kind of walk away in laughter. So I think our conversations at this point are either about football, or he'll crack a joke or two about Bill and some of the guys recruited me to come here.
It's perfect hair.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect hair and everything in between. So.
And then final one for me, just wanted to know what's something fans might not know about you, talents, hobbies, things you really like to do, what you're going to be looking for in Charlotte, that sort of thing.
Yeah, big in the community. I love to kind of get out and explore. So I think my biggest thing is, if anyone sees me or wants to say hi, I may look like I'm not interested or something, feel free to always say hi. It's one where I love to walk my dog, so I be out a lot, running around with him. I have a 130-pound Rottweiler that is the nicest dog in the world too. So if anyone ever wants to say hi to him, don't be afraid. He's the biggest baby and doesn't know how to bark. So don't know if I want to call him a dog or not.
Tactical dog.
Yeah.
Well, Eryk, I have a 90-pound Rottweiler named Willow. So if you ever want to get the Rotties together, happy to.
Absolutely. I can't tell your name. I heard this little His name's Duke. I'll put it out there, and I know in Carolina it could go either way, so it's a little controversial. So
Even with Maryland.
yeah, exactly. But forgot about the school, and everyone's been thinking I've named him after the school, but he's just Little Prince.
Don't worry, you still play for Dean Smith, so you got the Carolina side covered too.
Absolutely, exactly.
Thank you so much, Eryk.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Anyone in the room?
Yeah.
All right, one last one and then
Because when you mentioned that your conversations with Charlotte had started, way back when had they started before you came here?
Yeah, it probably. I don't think it was last preseason, but it might have been in the summer.
But before you played here, there already had been some conversations.
I believe so. I want to say we played in May, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe it was before.
But in that case, I mean, just coming to play against the team here, is that an audition? Is it a little more?
I wouldn't say so. I think the way Portland had got killed in that game, it was one where I kind of hope no one kind of would take that as an audition, but it's one where just kind of
going into the game. Did you say okay?
Not really. I think the mentality goes game by game, and it was just at that point just trying to steal 3 points here, and Portland was nowhere close. So I think it solved my problem of the question of is it the right next step, and that gave me all the answers I needed.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eryk.